Good morning or good evening. That's the nature of podcasts. We don't even know what time of day it is. Good night.
Yes.
Thank you. Good night. No, good night and welcome.
Happy dusk.
Good dusk and welcome to the joys and exquisite delights of TotalCults.com. My name is James Trick.
And I'm Dr. Gogol, still.
Yeah. Have you worked out how you spell your name yet?
Just about, yeah.
Got some consistency on that,
research.
Have you edited the inconsistencies of your name spelling?
No.
No.
Well, I don't know. I've not bothered looking back. Probably not.
I've looked back on occasion and I found that because I looked back when writing up bits, you know, obviously where I refer to you.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, he'll know how to spell his own name. But no. What is the correct spelling?
It's Gogol.
Gogol. You just settled on that now, are you? Definitely.
Almost 70% sure.
Because I could go back and edit ones where you've called yourself various other
I'm
permutations.
That's the nature of the Doctor. I'm kind of amorphous. Like Bruce Lee said about Jeet Kune Do, I'm like water. If you pour water into a glass, it takes the shape of a glass. Like me, my misspelling of names and mispronunciation of names, which I'm sure we've done in the first podcast as well, allows me to adopt various positions all over this electronic network and pop up at the least expected place.
You're adopting different positions on the electronic network?
Yep.
Well, thankfully, you won't be able to see that due to the nature of this as an audio thing. I'm hoping I won't be confronted by you adopting various positions either.
Well, no, I mean, maybe during the process of this podcast, I might adopt the reverse crab.
Yes, hopefully not.
I will fill you in, listeners.
The goat
listener.
Yes. Okay, today we're going to be talking about those franchises, those properties that make the jump from television to film. And
it's something of a continuing theme from last week where we talked about, sequels and remakes, and is it just regurgitation of the same idea and nothing new? And in many ways, the adaptation has been lumped in with this. Is it something being of an original thinking? Before we move strictly onto TV,
I don't think it's going to be strictly, judging by our normal.
No, but I thought I might get this because these other things are quite large subjects. With especially recently, the adaptation of comic books to film is often linked as, it's not another comic movie. And I always take great offence to that, not only because I'm a comic lover and I feel that it's a much maligned.
When you say you're a comic lover, do you mean
I like to have sex with clowns?
I was more thinking that you were just humorous generally. That your romantic skills
have I revealed too much?
were comical or laughable. Yes. You're a comic lover.
And it's a much maligned and unfairly looked down upon genre or medium, is probably the correct term. Yet, since film has began, they've always been, adapted from books.
Right.
The majority of films, and that's nothing new. So I don't see why there's and I think that TV, a lot of people think, it's another TV show adaptation. And again, I think there is a certain degree of cynicism from producers thinking, that, would be popular. Not even that would make a good film. That would generate some income. But I do think, obviously, as we established last time, in the point that we've made, that it is necessary to retell things. So you were talking earlier about, what needs to happen in a film adaptation of a TV show. What happens to the characters. So please elaborate on that.
Well, yeah.
Because I wasn't really listening.
No. We were chatting, actually, just before we started recording, about the fact that film has different kind of requirements out of its characters. Particularly, I went and saw the In-Betweeners last night, the adaptation of it's not an adaptation, an extension,
a continuation
of the TV sitcom, which made the jump to movie. I thought it worked. Quite well. It made me laugh, which is really what a comedy sets out to do. But I was sort of discussing with a friend of mine the fact that in a sitcom, almost by its nature, the characters can't really grow and change, particularly not on a long-running sitcom. You can over a very, you can kind of, the arc theory, you can manipulate them a little bit, but it almost, particularly until the last 10 years, they always used to hit the reset button fairly strenuously at the end of...
And specifically in situation comedy, where the whole point is the situation. If the situation changes, then it doesn't...
Exactly. If you've got two characters who are antagonistic towards each other, who are locked in an enclosed environment. The moment you open that door, you've lost the whole premise of the show. So, whereas movies, by their nature, characters do need to grow and change, and you do need this, this idea of distance travelled. You need them to be at a different place at the end of it. So there's a kind of clash between those two ideas. And I actually saw. I think it was the Total Film Review of the In-Betweeners movie slated it on that basis, that there was an arc and these characters did have a resolution, a happy ending, rather than the sort of darker sort of maintenance of the status quo of the sitcom. But that's kind of the nature of the beast. It's kind of the only way it can go. What's your favourite adaptation from a TV programme to a movie?
Well, generally speaking, there are few and far between, or I think a lot of the time that it's so, and I think more recently it's been quite mechanical adaptations. You see, well, we've got to have this bit, we've got to have this bit in, we've got to reference this bit, this will please the fans, this will please the audiences. And although they're enjoyable in their own right, they do feel very pieced together. I mean, the A-Team film strikes me as something that was not unentertaining at all, but, considering how bad it could have been, it did work very well. But at the same time, I don't really see the point of it. It just seemed like people love the A-Team. It's about time. Mr. T's on, advertising chocolate bars now. Let's bring this back. And again, it didn't really. And it was this whole thing of kind of circumnavigating this issue that you had. It didn't advance the characters. In fact, it went back prior to the TV, the point of the TV show starting, and started again. Which is a curious one as well, do you actually need to know that information? The stuff they cover in the opening credits of the TV series, in the voiceover, is frankly enough for me, because the story starts and they...
Did the pilot ever do that? I mean, for the 80s, was all that stuff ever covered?
I don't believe it did.
The pilot had a different face man, didn't it? I seem to remember.
Yes. No, I don't remember it that well enough, but I imagine it didn't.
The thing I thought with the A-Team movie, and I remember discussing this with you when it came out, was that never, again, in the disconnect between something that's a TV show and something that's a movie, I don't think that ever managed to properly work out its relationship with these guys shooting people.
Yes.
Which I was sort of intrigued about going into the flick. I mean... famously, in the TV series, they would spray off thousands of rounds of machine gun fire, and they would never hit anything except the tyres of things that would cause things to flip, and then people would get out unharmed, all that sort of thing. If you do that in an action movie, it's immediately laughable. But similarly, if you have like Murdoch, gouging out someone's eyes, it's just slowly really grinding.
And he would do, because he's psychotic.
He's a psychotic character. And if you play him as a straight down the line psychopath, which I think would have been great, that they'd leave him sort of, looking after a character who is held hostage, and they'd come back and the guy would be disemboweled and there'd be shit hanging off the ceiling and all that sort of thing, which would have been fantastic. But again, that is jarring, I think, to the audience. And so I don't think that the movie ever managed to square this circle between, are these guys mercenaries, psychopaths who kill people all the time, or are these wacky, family-friendly, iconic characters who advertise chocolate bars, but then it fucked it all up by drawing attention to that, and it had the BA plot about BA trying not to kill people.
Well, I think
which meant that I just kept looking at BA and going, he normally kills people all the time. This is a murderer. I'm looking.
Well, this is what baffled me. I rewatched it again recently, and they circumnavigate the problem expertly in the opening thing. Although technically people die, it's through Hannibal's planning, and it's not them that actually kill the people in the helicopters. So you can get away with that. The shooting, as is the way in many films now, the shooting of the action sequences is so kind of disorientating to a point you can't really see people get hit, and they get away with the fact they're not hitting people. And the point that Hannibal makes, send us in and we'll do this without bloodshed, and that's their skill. Brilliant, sorted, done. And it did the thing that I didn't think it could do. It didn't, I thought the A-Team would make a great, really idea for really gritty, really serious,
Murdoch disemboweling people.
Or, a group. I love the idea of a group of highly trained mercenaries just solving crimes. If you imagine like, a local kid, or a local drug gang.
It's like Murder, She Wrote with the 80s.
A local drug gang of kids, bullying a neighbourhood, and then a SWAT, a highly trained black ops team turn up and take them out. That'd be fantastic. Or a light-hearted camp thing, and they kind of went right down the middle and got the best of both worlds sorted. And then they bring in BA, and it's this arc. We have to have him have movement.
Yeah, the same thing about TV show versus...
And the resolution is that, hooray, BA smashed someone's skull in, play the theme.
He's murdered someone.
And it's just...
BA's murdered someone.
And it feels like they've carefully circumnavigated the way through a minefield, then turned around and just jumped up and down all the way back.
Absolutely.
I think that is from the as you say, going into the movie, that's the problem. They didn't know what to do with these characters. Going back to possibly then my most notable one, bearing these ones that haven't been necessarily so successful, the thing that sticks in my mind, again, whether it's successful or not, it's one of these films that I'm so emotionally involved with, I cannot hope to be objective. So I'm well aware it's most likely a terrible film, that it has no artistic value, but Transformers the movie...
The cartoon.
Movie.
Not the Michael Bay, no.
Don't get me started. No, Transformers the movie, the 86 cartoon... adventure.
I think was the slogan of the cartoon that says "shit" in it.
I think so. Which I only found out about recently when I bought one of the mini releases. This one just was suddenly rated higher. I thought, wonder why. It's not a Transformer that says it, though. It's a human.
Oh right.
Because the Transformers are too good for that.
Transformers just stick to vicious sexual swear words rather than excrement.
I don't think it was Spike. I think it was Dad, whose name I can't remember. Right. He says he has the potty mouth.
He does. What does he say? What's the line?
I bet you know the line. What are we going to do now?
Right. Okay.
And it's completely... It's not even like it's a moment. It's like we're being chased. Oh, shit. Like what? Not that you build up to something like that, but it just gets thrown in there.
Again, you need the arc, don't you, with the character who can't say shit.
Yeah.
It suddenly turns into a South Park episode.
Or he says it at the start, and then the whole film's about, the
repercussions.
Swear.
You should swear, not in children's cartoons.
No.
Almost as bad as the gull that says piss off in Watership Down. Oh, God, it unhinged a generation, that gull. And people would take it back and they go, did that gull just say piss off? And they play it back and he sort of goes, piss off. Is it piss? And then you're just... Sorry, I was going to let you.
And the children in the room are crying.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what's notable for that for me is that you'd think, if you were going to make a film version of a cartoon series that is essentially selling toys to kiddies, you don't have to take risks. You don't have to throw in any curves. It's literally just let's have these robots shooting each other for an hour and a half. And much like the A-Team, no one ever shot a laser into someone. They shoot a bookcase and fall on someone. Apart from Transformers the movie, where in the first 10 minutes everyone's favourite characters are murdered. And not off-screen, not quite graphically executed. Holes appear in their chest, smoke churns out of it. Ironhide, who next to Prime was my favourite, gets shot in the head at point-blank range by Megatron, who is standing over them. And it's not even like, spur of the moment. He talks to him and then just unloads in his face, which was another reason for the PG.